Welcome to Inside Out with Chris, a podcast where there are no limits or surface level conversations. I'm your host, Chris Burns, a personal development coach on a mission to empower women to move the needle in all areas of their lives. Each week we dive into deep, thought-provoking conversations with inspiring guests. We're talking deep truths, raw experiences, and dropping game-changing takeaways to help you break free of the BS holding you back. Let's transform you from the inside out. Hello and welcome back to Inside Out with Chris. I am very excited to share with you today an episode that I recorded a little while ago. It was done live at my International Women's Day event in honor of Jenny's Place. An incredible event where there was just so much going on that you will hear a little background noise. I wanted to drop in and pre-frame this with you. So the background noise, it can be a little bit overpowering. If you are tuning in via audio, I would highly encourage you to jump on YouTube and watch, potentially pop it on the TV, turn the volume up, and have a listen this way. It is a really cool chat with Janine Allis, the founder of Boost Juice, who is just an absolute queen and powerhouse, and you will hear all about her and her journey in business in this episode. But yeah, I just wanted to really encourage you to jump on and do this via YouTube, not so much via audio. However, if you are listening via audio, just bear with us. There was a lot of happy ladies in the crowd. Everyone was having a really great time. And of course, after a few cocktails, these things can get a little rowdy. So you'll hear a lot of women having a good time, which was always the intention and was always about the experience. And if you weren't able to make the event, I hope this episode brings you a little bit of enlightenment around how the day played out, because as you will hear and see, it was a phenomenal day and I cannot wait to do it all again in 2026. So stay tuned. So I will leave you now to dive into this episode with the incredible Janine. Thank you.
Oh, I've got multiple microphones.
We do have multiple mics. This speaker is for the room, the beautiful women, and this is for the podcast live event. So, okay, I've got some rapid fire questions for you. So just first answer, whatever comes up, just answer the question.
Sure.
Yeah, you've got this.
Hey, first of all, hi everyone. Hi. And good luck getting silence after 3 or 4 cocktails.
I know, it was the woo girls. I could hear the woo girls in the background, everybody. All right, so Janine, your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I'm a believer.
Yeah,
everyone needs a song, and I actually worked on that really hard, and no, I'm not going to sing it, because my husband said everyone needs a song, so that's my song.
Great, love that. That's a fantastic answer. Do you have pets?
Pets?
Yeah, pets.
Yes, I love my dog so much, I often call him my son's name. And you know the mothers in the room, you know how you call your kids the wrong name, right? It's called the love bucket.
Okay.
So everyone you love's in that bucket, right? And so it doesn't matter what name you pull out, you just pull it out.
Yeah.
And so if I call my children know I love my dog so much that if I call my dog, who's Astro, Riley, they're not offended.
I get that. I've got 4 kids, so I totally resonate with that and a dog. What is your guilty pleasure? Something that might be completely off-brand for you.
Oh, my guilty pleasure. I've gone really kind of boring and healthy and stuff. So my guilty pleasure, I really like too much dark chocolate. I just love dark chocolate.
Same.
I'm a bit of addicted to it.
Yeah, amazing. All-time favourite movie?
I love Actually. I know it's a boring one, but I just love it.
It's cute.
Yeah, I know.
Movie.
I know.
What is your morning routine like?
Oh my God, my morning routine, settle in guys, because this goes for a while. I get up, which is always a good start. So I get up at about 5:15 and then I will take a whole lot of vitamins. I will do my facial program and then I'll go downstairs. I feed the cat first because cats are more annoying than dogs. I take the dogs out for a wee. I put on my chai, prana chai, and I let it soak. And then I check my phone about 5:45 and check where the surf is. And then my girlfriend by 6 o'clock will say, because she knows where the winds are, I don't. She'll go, we're going to this location, and 6 o'clock I'm in the car driving to go for a surf.
Oh, that sounds like a fun morning.
I didn't know you surf. Thank you. And I should be better, but I'm not.
Oh, that's fun. That's a fun activity.
Yeah, no,
I'm a late surfer.
Okay.
But
I love it.
Did you find it really tough to learn, or was it something that you just took up?
Oh no, I could be doing surfing for 40 years. Is it raining?
It's a waterfall behind you.
Oh, okay.
One.
I could be surfing for 40 years and still find it hard. No. Every day, it's the only sporting activity that every single day it's a different field. So, you go out, like I went out this morning, hence the curly hair, and it was just a hot mess. But I find the ocean has an energy to it, and if it's calm, I'm calm. If it's hectic, I'm hectic. So, and look, the science behind the ocean getting in wet is undeniable.
Yeah, I agree with that. I love that so much. What's the most unusual thing you've ever eaten?
An aardvark.
Does anyone know
I don't know,
what that is?
but it may not have been an aardvark. I was told us up. I was in the Caribbean, and I was actually working on David Bowie's yacht.
Oh,
And we went to this restaurant called Big Mama's.
I did read that in your book, actually.
Yeah, so it was called Big Mama's, this restaurant. And she had on the menu snakes, aardvarks, possums, everything. And each one came as a stew.
Yes.
But it could have been rabbit because everything looked exactly the same. So she went, this is the snake. And we're going, yeah, okay. This is the aardvark. But so I think it's an aardvark, but I don't think it is.
Okay. Yuck.
Big Mama, not sure she was that legit. She
much-
was big though.
On a much nicer note, what's your favourite way to spend a Sunday?
Oh, Sunday. Look, always with the surf, and then just hang out at the beach, or hanging out, having lunch with friends, or actually hang out with my children, who that doesn't happen very often. So yeah.
Nice.
Just really simple stuff.
Yeah.
Cheap stuff.
Yeah, love that so much. So you've built an empire and you've had an insane career, which I just love so much. But if you were to strip away all of the titles, all of the accolades and the businesses, who is Janine at the core?
Oh God. It's really funny. I went to a place once and they said, I'm really sorry, we're serving alcohol. And I went, why are you telling me that? And I went, oh, that's right, you think I'm healthy, right? So, right, that's weird, right? I don't know, I'm just me. I'm a girl from the burbs, from Victoria, left school at 16, and just find my way in life, So I am not fancy, I don't like Prada bags and high heels, and I never wear makeup. This is a special occasion.
Thank you.
I'm probably, just very me.
I love that. You're true to yourself.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable in my skin. I think what's great about being in my later 50s is that I don't feel like I have to pretend to be anything else. Like people say, they say these things like, it's the imposter syndrome, right? And I just think that's bullshit. There's no such thing. All we are is students learning. And so, of course, when I started a business, I didn't expect to know anything. Of course, right now, I don't expect to be a good surfer. I'm not a good anything, really. So I think the key thing is that we're just on this journey of learning. And I think it's okay to not know it.
Yeah, I agree with that. We have a mantra in our house, which is there's no failure and no feedback, which I've sort of shifted a little bit for the younger people in our house. There's no losing, only learning. So we really live by that, and I love that. You can be vulnerable with your student. You're still learning. It's another day learning, and it's so important.
It's actually really freeing to say you don't know it. We get in our own way, right? So what I say freeing is that we'll go to a meeting and we'll go, gee, I don't want to ask that question because I might look stupid, right? And instead of going in and going, wow, I've got something to contribute, but I'm not going to know everything, and say to someone, can you clarify what that means? And even if it's obvious, you go, that's okay, at least I know now. So I think that we get in our own way and not be, we care what people think. But if you go in life as a student and you're always learning, because different people will know things that you don't know, particularly with these days with the, say, the younger generation with regard to AIs and techs and all those sort of things. It's just so I think that view of being okay to look silly or look, in your opinion, not, they don't expect you to know it.
Yeah, that's really true. I think women need to give themselves more permission to be the dumbest or the not smartest in the room and be okay with it. it's actually a great thing to be a small fish in a big pond and be learning and growing and evolving and expanding. Like, I'm someone that is happy to be at the bottom of the table and I'm happy to learn and grow with the people in the room.
Well, honestly, if someone says to you, I am an expert in this field, right, do not listen to them. Because as soon as you believe you're the expert, you stop learning. It's because if you're an expert, there's nothing else to learn. So, so I'm sorry if you're listening to me today, I'm not the expert. Sorry.
I love that though. What do you feel like, you've navigated so many high stakes moments in business. Can you take us back to a time where you're completely out of your depth, potentially, and maybe you had to figure it out? What did that look like for you? What did that feel like?
Oh, it looked like Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Oh, all the time, right? I started Boost Juice Bars with what was I qualified? I was not qualified for anything. I was a young mum with 3 kids and I'd never run a business before. So I was out of my depth for 25 years, right? But I didn't actually feel like I was out of my depth. I just went, oh shit, I've got to work out how to do that. Okay, I've got to work out it. I'll find a way. And I think that, thanks. And I think people say, they go, oh, it's too hard. Well, no, just work through it. Like, find a way. And the amount of times the people who've got businesses in this room, that people have gone to them, I've tried, I can't get there, and you go, get out the way, give me the phone, there you go, I did it. If you don't accept no, you just find a way. So I'm launching another brand at the moment, international, and I have no idea about US tax. And so I'm just happy to pay for people and go, hey, this is what I understand, is this correct or not correct? So I am forever out of my depth.
Oh my God. See, that's good to know. I feel like I'm always out of my depth, so if you're out of your depth, I could be a little more okay with that. So many women want to start businesses, but and I particularly have worked with so many different women in my career as a personal development coach who do want to start these businesses, so I can really relate to this question also, but they are paralysed by fear. I would love to know, what would you say to someone who's paralysed by fear of failure, fear of judgment, all those things?
Oh, get over it.
I like it, yeah.
I just go, look, we can, you can be analysis paralysis, right? You can go, I can't do something because I'm scared, right? If fear doesn't serve you, negative things don't serve you. Instead, if you turn it around, and you can actually change how you think. If you instead sort of go, if someone came up to me, if you ask my children, I haven't got a very good sympathy gene, right? So I tend to just go, oh, unless it's not falling, unless there's a limb that's in the right direction or there's an arm that's not coming off, I kind of just say rub it. So I'm sort of that way with people too. Like, if someone comes and goes, I'm too scared to start, well then don't start, right? But I can't help you. But if you turn to me and say, I'd really like to, and this is the research I have done, and this is where I've done, and I've checked out customers, and I've done this, and I've gone all these things, and this is where I'm going, then I can help you. Yeah. But I think people have to get out of their own way.
That's a big part.
Yeah. I think I just want to touch on that. People who say I'm scared, right, about stuff that's not worth being scared about, there's 2 types of people. There are people who are verbs, which are victims, entitled, rescue and blame, right? The verbs are the ones that are scared. They go, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it. Someone has to save me. Oh, I've been in that job for 3 years, I deserve a promotion. They don't get anywhere. In actual fact, if you choose to soar, which is solutions, it's a problem, find a solution. Ownership, that is where the power comes. If you own it, if you go, the only way I'm going to get it done is if I own it, you're accountable, and are responsible. If you live in a soar way, life just changes. Yeah. We can all be verbs, we can all be scared, we can all be victims, we can all be entitled. But if you honestly turn around with every problem and go, okay, it's me to solve, what's the solution? Your life actually changes.
Can you just share with the room the acronym VERB, what the actual...
Yep. It's verb is victim, entitled, rescue and blame. And we can all be verbs. I can so be a verb.
Yeah, it was actually one of my questions. I read your book and that was one of the biggest takeaways for me in the book. And some people in the room have gotten that book today in the raffle, which is amazing. So you'll get to read all through that. It's really powerful when you can step from victimhood and the inability to get yourself out of it, and you just sit in it and you blame, and there's all this negative energy, and the frequency, vibrationally, that you sit on when you're speaking to that level. It's such a poor man's mentality.
Yeah.
You're not going to go anywhere with it. There's no way out. As soon as you're like, whoa, how is this me? How is this on me? How is this my responsibility? It'll give you the empowerment to start moving the needle.
Yeah. There's very few people, women in this room, that wouldn't have had an experience, a negative experience of some capacity. Whether it was a dodgy parent or a dodgy relative, being a bit touchy, or abuse or bullying or something. There's always something, right? But you can choose to continue to be a victim of that, or you can choose to actually make a change. And they call it post-traumatic stress and post-traumatic strength. And you'll hear stories about the worst thing that can happen is you lose a child, but that those parents go on to start a foundation, or they start that it's quite extraordinary the path you can take.
The driving force, yeah. Yeah. Shark Tank, I want to speak to that for a second because that just lights me up. It's a show that we watch in the house. We've seen it one day before. A lot of people in the room will probably feel the same. And you gave us a front seat, essentially, to your business brain. What's the biggest mistake? This is a pretty big generalisation, though, so I know that. What's the biggest mistake you're seeing entrepreneurs make?
Look, I think the key thing is not understanding their business. So you'll say to them, they'll go, oh, I don't know what my gross margin is, or I don't know what I should charge. I don't know these. And I think they don't understand that the answer's in their numbers. But the numbers, people get scared of numbers. They think that it's complicated. Now, as I said, I left school at 16. I haven't got a degree in anything other than yoga instructor. So if anyone needs a hand with a downward dog, I'm there for you. So for me, I used to, and I still do, I look at my business as if it tells me stories. It tells me where I need to focus. It just tells you everything about your business. So I think that's the one thing. So people are not understanding the DNA of how their business works.
That's great. Fabulous answer. Motherhood and business, 2 full-time jobs. I know that you know that. Did you ever feel like you had to choose between the experience that you wanted to have in motherhood versus the empire that you have built?
No, I don't think I love being a mum, right? I love them. I think I was actually quite selfish. My children have worked out really well, by the way. But parents used to hang out to me to feel good about their parenting, right? I would be the one that would send their kids to school in the wrong uniform. I'd be the one that never knew what the right form was. I would be that one. But I did try my best to, I never thought of it as life balance, I thought it was life. And so if I was doing an interstate trip, I would take one of them with me. Or I would always have a toy box in my office. Or, it was okay to breastfeed in a board meeting. So it was sort of, I just kind of just moulded them into my life. And mostly it worked. But some days, both of them, some days the business would fall through the cracks or I forget to pick them up.
You just mentioned
which he reminds me of regularly. Yes. No, my son reminds me of regularly.
Yeah.
But my kids are really diverse. Like, I don't know about you guys, right? I've got 4 kids. And I thought that I had control over what happens with my children, right? I thought I controlled how they ended up. But I've got, my oldest son is 33 years old with 7 children. I know.
Wow.
I know. He did marry a woman with 4.
Okay.
However, he's had 3 more. So he's my hippie. They are free-range children that just hang out, right? They live in Byron Bay, no surprise, right? I have another child who is the golden child. He is extraordinary, right? He's smart, he went to university, he goes to schools and builds schools, he's perfect, right? The next one's a total wanker. Right? And He does, if anyone's into Warhammer, he's a YouTuber. He's really, really good looking. He's single. Single, right. Check out Major Kill. He's got really good abs. Actually, his name's Riley Allis. You can check him out.
Oh my goodness.
He actually, I know, he's a kid. He's a really good YouTuber, right? And he thinks he's really clever. Let me just tell you a quick story.
Please.
I'm at a restaurant, right? Imagine we're at a restaurant like we are here today. I'm sitting there with my husband and my 4 children. This lady came up to me because sometimes I get recognised because of the TV, and she said, "You look really familiar. Where do I know you from?" Right? Riley, the wanker, turned to the hot wanker. Turned to her and said, "Did you watch porn in the 80s?"
Oh my God, I would die.
I know.
Naughty child.
I know. I gave him points for quick-wittedness. It was very funny.
Clever.
I know.
Little bastard. Goodness me. Wow. What a kid.
I know.
I love it. Here for it.
My favourites. My last one's my favourite daughter.
Oh, okay.
But that's a long story. She was my midlife crisis when I was 42.
Okay. What's her name?
Talia.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. There's this idea that as mothers, and I actually just want to take it back a moment to where you just said around breastfeeding and boarding and things like that. Now, obviously, you've been the boss for a while, but have you ever received any pushback in your experiences in those settings of the corporate world and meetings and businesses and things like that? Traditionally, when there's men in the room, and if so, how did you overcome those moments?
No.
Okay, great.
No, and the reason being, I think I was too busy to care.
True.
You know, I was so, like, honestly, my hair was curly right down to the bottom because I never went to the hairdresser. I went into a meeting and I never thought of myself as less or more than. So because I never did, I didn't find anyone else did. Right? So I never came across, in actual fact, I used the fact that not many men deal with women at any level, at back then, it's different now, to my advantage. So if there was an old guy who's used to dealing with, women as, let me help you, sure, I'd let them help me all the way to signing the document I wanted them to sign. So I just used the fact that they were, and what was good about it is it put them out, because they're used to dealing with men, and this isn't so much now because there's a lot of women now that are killing it, but back then it was like they were so used to not dealing with women that they didn't quite know what to do, so you honestly had an advantage.
That's great. So great. Tell me, what do you define success by?
Oh, look, there's not financial, and look, there is to have enough money to be able to have financial freedom is awesome, but it's success when I sit around with my family, my boys and my daughter, and we're playing cards, we're having a laugh, and they're all happy, and they're all in a good space. That's success. That's success.
I have one final question for you. If you could leave every woman in this room with just one truth to live by, what would it be?
Guilt doesn't serve us.
Oof, that's big.
Right? I think we get caught up in we're guilty because whether you're a mother or non-mother, that we're not enough there for the kids, or we're guilty because we didn't do the exercise, or we're guilty for, I think guilt is something we should never do. I was a happier woman because I worked, right? But that made me a happy woman, which made me a better mother and wife, or that's how I justified it anyway.
I can totally relate to that. I would love to invite anyone in the room that might have a question, business, motherhood for Janine. We would love to invite you to ask away. I feel like there's mine, Nez. Can I get the microphone, please, slowly over to Narada?
In every direction, I just don't know what's going on. There we go,
There we go, thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Can you just, I loved how you shared the verb and the saw. Can you just go over the saw again?
Sure.
Quite here.
Yeah, it's solutions,
Thank you.
right? Ownership,
Yep.
accountability,
Yep.
and responsibility.
Awesome. Thank you. I have one more. Is that okay?
Of course.
So can you just, I love how you've got this ability to just not focus too much on the problem, and you've got this really lightheartedness about you. One of the things I notice about women in business is they get so stuck in their fear and their shame and their guilt, so I love that you spoke about that. And I think that's probably why you've been so successful. Can you just share why you think that is that you have that approach in business? Why do you think you've been able to have that sort of fearless and lean-in approach?
Look, I don't know. I just think that, I think age helps. As you get older, you just go, whatever, right? I think I make sure I only surround myself with really, great people. Like at the moment I'm doing, as I said, some international, launching some international, and I'm sure they're expecting this corporate woman, but literally I sit there straight out of the surf, I've got a bun on, I've still got my sort of, my singlet on, and I just go, I don't care. We're here, I have a laugh, I tell jokes. It actually, I'm looking for people who want to be like that with me. So that's who I want to do business with. And there's one particular guy I'm dealing with, and he's from, I think he's from a Baltic region or whatever, and he's really serious, and every time I crack a joke, he doesn't want to laugh, but he laughs. But I think you just got to be comfortable in your own skin, and I have hit rock bottom. I have, done all the things, but I think the reality is, every time there's a problem, because I've had so many problems in business, because it's called business, I immediately go to, how do I fix it? What's the solution? And so it's a default. It's like a muscle memory. So I think that if you constantly push for that solution, then it will become you. You'll just think that way.
So many people get to that point and then they just quit.
Yeah, no, I know. But do you know what? Quit is not an option. You just keep going until you find the solution. It's there.
Thank you for coming to Newcastle. I wish Newcastle had more people like you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How many more questions are we left? Can I go two more over here? So is that alright? Alright. Okay. Then I go over here.
And one over here. I'll make it 3.
Hello, Janine. It's lovely to be in your presence, so thank you for coming. My daughter cannot escape Westfield without going to Ooze.
Nice.
Wales and Albury down, but I would
Nice.
love to know what is your go-to.
My go-to is Pure Eden, which is sort of, it's more, lots of fruit and veggies, just blended up. But equally, actually, some news for Newcastle. Has anyone heard of Yochi?
Yes. We have.
Okay, it's on its way.
All right, everyone put your hands up for Yochi!
All right, Janine, I think we've got one more question, 3 more questions.
Right.
We've got one over here, and then where else, Chris?
Sarah Holt.
Okay, Sarah Hoff, I'll come to you after this. Here we go. All right, Janine. I'm a high school teacher, and I spend my life telling children not to succumb to peer pressure, but here I am. So, my question is, as a very successful businesswoman yourself, if you were not in business doing what you do now, as a 16, 18-year-old, what would you choose to do with your life?
If I wasn't doing what I do now,
Yeah, if you were not the entrepreneurial businesswoman that you are, if you could start all over again, what would you do? What would you do differently?
yeah, I think, I don't think I would do anything differently, right? And I think I'd want to be who I am and what I do now, because I love business. But if I was to give myself that 16-year-old advice, right, I would come up to her, I would put my hand on her back and go for it. I would tell her nothing. And the reason I would tell her nothing other than go for it is that without the mistakes I made, which are many every day, I wouldn't be who I am today. No one learns anything from failure. No one ever learns anything from success. The only time you learn something is when you fail, and it hurts when it fails. It's financially, emotionally, but you think about it, right? You think about the guy that broke your heart, right? And then you think back late, right, not you, because you're looking at you probably never had a guy bring that, right? Right there, right? But you look back at anything that you've thought at the time as being negative, you look back and go, thank God that happened because look at where I am now. And I think that's what happens. Even if you miss a house or whatever you do, it's always in a better thing. See, the new house will happen. On board.
All right, we've got time for one more. Just over here.
Hi.
Thank you for being here today. Thank you.
God, there is so many beautiful...
Wonderful event on. I think you're incredible.
Oh,
and
thank
you're
you.
building it at an empire. How do you have any tips and tricks for hiring people? How do you cut out the crap in the hiring process?
Hiring women or just hiring?
Hiring.
I have a really good bullshit radar, right? And so, you know that verb saw? I try and ask questions to see if they answer in a solution-based or a verb-based. So I will say, can you give me an example when something went terribly wrong and what did you do about it? Or what did you think about your boss? You know, did he recognise you? Or did he... So I'll try and ask questions to find out, because I can train anyone to do anything. But I can't train someone who hasn't got the right mindset. And the other thing is fire fast, right? So there's people in this room that have got businesses. I ask you to ask yourself this question. If you let someone go, did you ever say to yourself, I wish I held them longer? And it's always the reverse. I should have got rid of it quicker. Always. So I think that hire slowly, fire fast is really the way to go. No, my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Janine, for being here and coming to Newcastle. We are also grateful to have you. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If this landed for you, I would love if you can share this conversation to your socials, and don't forget to tag at Inside Out with Chris. Don't also forget to hit subscribe or follow so you don't miss next week's conversation. Bye.